let's talk about the Stingray surveillance just for fun.
All right.
Because that's a good one. So there's
just for fun.
So I'll set the playing field here, and then we can kind of discuss it. There is a device that certain agencies, federal agencies, local agencies, just agencies that we're all familiar with, have possession of, called a Stingray. And this Stingray is able to emulate a cell phone tower. And what they're able to do, in essence, is have your cell phone connect to it and then relay the connection to the actual cellular network. And what this allows for is the interception of data, whether that be voice data or computer data or any other type of data. The bits and bytes that are going over the line, that they can be potentially intercepted. And there's a lot of discussion on the constitutionality of a device like this. So, knowing that agencies that we're all familiar with have this device.
Right here locally, I think, don't they?
I would ask this panel of experts, as well as our audience, whether we feel that this is constitutional and a device potentially that could be used without a warrant.
I'd like to hear Michael's take on this.
You know, just if I could clarify, this device is like something that cuts the cable for your communications. If you have an internet cable, it's like cuts the cable and sits in between you and the internet company. So it's getting all your communications from your cell phone without a warrant, and that's the most concerning thing.
So
the other,
go ahead.
Oh, the other thing is try to find any information on the Stingray. If you go on Google, you won't be able to find a manual. You'll be able to find some blogs on it. But if you try to go to the manufacturers or get any specifics on it, you're not going to get it unless you're police, unless they can verify you're from the police.
I would think at a minimum you need a warrant.
Well, there's this idea, and Michael probably knows better, but that it's radio waves. It's out in the public domain.
Here's the question.
Yeah.
You know, is there an expectation of privacy? That's number one.
Right.
Because I think, you know, I think there's some cases back and forth ultimately resulted in you have to have a warrant to check someone's phone. You can't force them to give a code, although I think this may be transitioning. I thought I saw another case contrary that a password, known password is not testimonial. By the way, send Jeff Frazier.
The link.
Yeah. It's not testimonial, but nevertheless, the first analysis usually on these kind of things is, do you have a right to privacy? The second, of course, would be, is it a government intrusion? I think someone else stealing your data, you don't have any government interest there. And you make a good point, because I think many of the, like it's almost like the idea of the trash can, Jim, that once you put your trash on the street, it no longer is in a private area. It's for anyone to kind of take.
It's in the public domain.
Correct. And I think, by way of definition, I'm not suggesting that it should be this way, but by definition, the data floating in between there is out there. And further, I would say, I don't know that anyone has a right to prevent third-party subpoenas for, like you don't have a right to privacy of the records that Verizon keeps of yours.
Yeah, but that's in conflict with rulings that have been made in favor of corporations. I remember, 15 years ago, that when DirecTV was first coming up, that you could buy these devices that would allow you to basically decode their satellite signal and get DirecTV for free. And there was a tremendous amount of litigation. They were suing people for doing this, and they were winning. So much so that they had everybody bent over a barrel, and they would raid these places that manufacture these devices, and they just start going down the list and suing everybody. So I think that there's some conflict there, as far as
it can be theft.
Right there, it's theft.
Right.
Here, it's okay because it's in the air. Like this was in the air
This is
too,
like when-
entering my home.
What if I am doing some banking on my cell phone?
Right? Is that in the air?
I mean, that's in
They
the
get
air.
those
then.
records.
Does that give Amanda then the right to my bank stuff because it's in the air?
maybe.
There's a lot of consent
Imagine
Unknowingly
the mess that would be.
to what you would think would not be happening, right? I mean, by virtue of having the phone and the convenience of it, I think we're all subject to being tracked. I mean, if you ever listen to these like crime shows where, someone goes on the run, the second they turn their phone on, bam, it's over. Like they got him. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, when you go on the run, you got to ditch the phone forever. I need to tell you.
But we all most of us realize
thing.
that we're being tracked. But we all accept that as you
Yeah.
said,
As an
because of the
exchange for
convenience.
convenience.